As for her guardianship, it's all under the Commonwealth, so her money doesn't make any difference if she's in Australia, Canada, doesn't make any difference, or England. The money still goes to the Commonwealth. Oh no, you've got her there for a reason, and it's not my fault or her fault. You've done nothing about it in all this time. You've run out of time, not us. So she ends up in Mount Esk, and they're feeding her pig. There's a big thing going on at the moment in England about racism towards the Jewish community. Well, we're Jewish. I was not raised Jewish. In my childhood, my uncle was given the honeydew lemons by a greengrocer who ended up being charged. He was a vicious fucker, and even gave me a honeydew. And when I went into a shop, one of the women called me a honeydew. So the reports on racism towards Jews in England is true. So even though I wasn't raised Jewish, we are not Catholic. We are not Catholic in any shape or form. I have been very vocal about the paedophilia. I have been very vocal about everything. Pay taxes, get women in there, stop the child abuse, marry for fuck's sake. At least marry, then give out advice. I think they are a rotten group. And a cross is a death scene. You do not have a cross in your home. You certainly don't wear it around your neck. If you're that worried about Archon, Jinn, alien, demon, call them what you want, you're hardly going to, bling them to death, are you? Dazzle them to death with a diamond cross. The social worker, when she went round to my mum's place, she would have seen the fact that there was no crosses. So I will explain why, certain things we don't do. I have to say, I've had a couple of boyfriends that have been Catholic, and it's a very brutal environment that you're raised in, and I'm very, very sorry that that's happened to you. My only experience as a child, I was taken to a church, and we were all lined up, and we were given alcohol and bread, and I was told that it was Jesus's blood and his flesh. And I remember looking, and the alcohol contact, I knew my mother wouldn't like that, and the blood thing was like, ugh. And I remember turning around looking for the adults to say, stop this, because I know Mum won't like this, and I don't like this. And do you know what? Not one adult stopped it. Like they don't stop the pedophilia. No, there are other homes in Tasmania. She does not need to be there, but it's up in a mountain. I know exactly why she's there, but you've run out of time, not our fault. Everyone jokes about the Jewish immune system. Well, it's true. We can't eat dairy. And we have to stay by the sea. Because the dust and everything, it cleans the air. So if you're drinking milk, which hurts your tummy, that actually in turn ups up your phlegm level. It's really serious. Gives you diarrhea, makes you very sick, makes you very lethargic. The not eating pig obviously does come from the desert. But the pig eats its own shit. The pig will eat anything. And so the pig, even in poor bastard trapped in those places, will still eat its own shit. And it's a very salty pig. And in the animal world, there are cousins. Their DNA or whatever is very, very similar. You don't eat the pig. So my mother, in Australia, to cover up the Jewishness, because let's face it, racism there, got a pet pig, and so she would always say, "Oh no, you don't eat the pig. You don't eat the pig because of Priscilla." So now she's eating Priscilla. Mount Esk, my mother's very tall, and they had her in a very short bed. They've also got her eating with people that need to be spoon-fed. She says they drool a lot, whereas my mum can eat. Remember, she's highly drugged. She says that she's drugged. She also hasn't laughed for 2 years. Now, I'm known for being very, very funny. My mother is way funnier than I am. And so everything about her health, her mental health, has been attacked. Therefore attacking mine, because you've got to think, this mum and I are a duo. Obviously there is no brothers or sisters, no cousins, no brothers, no sisters or anything. It's been an actual targeting. So I went crazy over the pig. I went crazy over the pig eating, and I contacted their head office, and then I finally got a reply from her social worker, and I must give you her email so you can email her, because she doesn't reply to me. Capital KYLIE dot capital HILLIER at publicguardian.tas.gov.au. Please feel free to email her anytime you wish. My mother has been kidnapped. This is kidnapping. So when she gets thrown into this current place, the pig eating place, they had her paying for 2 government places, and that was to make sure that her flight money was taken. The fuckers. Still, there's no hearing aid. That was me that got her to have an ear thing. The main guy in the guardianship said, make sure that you get her a hearing aid. Has he contacted to find out whether she's got one? Of course not. He did his job, and that was it. Running for more peni. This has got nothing it hasn't got anything to do with anything, but when my mother was in Melbourne, she actually had to have an operation, and she woke up, and someone had written on her attractive, and the place got shut down. It does say volumes, doesn't it? Attractive. So not a doctor, but someone. So I wonder what that was all about. Attractive. She was in her 60s too. Oh yes, and in the guardianship, as I said, that they made out that they didn't know who I was, and something had gone on in my life here, and it was in fact a fake thing. It wasn't that it was fake, but there were acts to cover what actually happened, and it happened way before I had arrived on the scene, and I was coerced into the scene, and my mother had absolutely nothing to do with it. Now, this person has to cover his own tracks, has been lying his arse off, but his father was a doctor, and from what I can gather, must have been very high up in the cult for any of it, for the family not to have been charged, and for any of it to have continued. And the thing, when you suffer from trauma, there's reasons why memories take 12 to 15 years to come forward. And in the old days, they would do that creepy, we'll feed you a cup of tea and put you in a blue outfit because that's what you were wearing back then. It's incredibly creepy. With all of that shadow stuff, there is like an act before something or act afterwards, and so when you do start remembering, it's very important to sit on it, because you'll remember the thing they want you to remember, which is the fake thing, where in fact you need to remember the real thing. And do you know what he did? He slyly brought it up, but it was to set my brain back, and they used that as an excuse. But they just wanted her money, right? And also it was to absolutely hurt her mental health and absolutely destroy mine. So it was her birthday. It was my birthday, and every day it's like, oh my God, time is running out, and I just want my mum to, have some form of happiness. She sits in her room and completely drugged up with no vitamins. It's very important. Can somebody please go